This one's so long.
If you could hear what we could hear, you'd understand why we were doing that.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, you might be a little kid.
Is this record? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
For a little time,
I guess.
Yeah, make sure he's convenient. Did you hit it?
I did.
We've done it twice. We've each done it once.
Hey,
We'll be right back.
hey. Sitting on the podcast with Spencer C. Wait, no. Sitting on the podcast with Spencer and C.
There you go.
Carrington behind the camera looking at me. She
Period.
real smiling big. I don't know why. Maybe it's because she just ate some French fries. Because we're about to spit a real hard podcast.
That's right.
Episode about some dope shit. Because you know me, I'm looking for a chick.
Okay.
Cuffing season, go back episodes.
Tell 'em.
Hey, you know I don't know what I'm talking about anyways. That thing keeps talking to us. See? It's but
No. Oh, that was your acapella moment.
acapella.
Set it up for you and everything. You just missed it.
He said, wait, no.
Wait.
Papa Doc, fucking clock, fucking camera, fuck everybody. Fuck you if you doubt me. I'm a piece of white trash, I say proudly. Fuck you if you doubt me. Yeah. All right, welcome back to another episode of the How Did I Get Here podcast. The podcast for positivity, progression, and helping
This
us
is
find
giving me
out.
creepy late night vibes.
Yeah.
I felt like I was
What?
on what was that shit with Linda Reynolds? Late Night Love.
Late Night Love.
Late night love.
This is
Aw.
great.
Yo, I want to know how so many people from jail can call in.
At that late.
Yeah, right?
Hey, shh. What we do in this community is my goddamn business. That is absolutely what we do.
So you were once on Late Night Love is what you're telling us.
No, but I am a fan of the craft.
Oh, okay. She's
Yeah.
just like, yo, snitches, we don't do
No,
that.
we don't.
No.
I'm here for it. Okay.
Well, shit.
Who
you
said
guys-
light skin's not loyal? Nobody.
Who said that? Yeah. I was like, is that a
I
thing?
think-
Like,
right?
I heard we were emotional, but damn, no
Light
loyal?
skin shade.
Yeah, I'm here
Right.
with 2 Libras and 2 light skin. Well, you're not really light anymore. Give it a couple months.
You said anymore.
Is he light?
I mean, yeah.
He's like on the cusp. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Well, welcome back to another episode, guys. You know me, Jake, Mr. Brown, Broken Ugly, living the dream, faking it till I make it.
Rim shot.
Rim shot. That's what it was.
It says the name of whatever we hit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
I saw it too, so I was like, oh.
I was like, look, I'm not. Sorry, guys. The thing was talking to us, and I was freaking out because I thought it said like low battery, and it was really a rim shot, which is actually right on par with what we're going to be talking about today.
Rim shots?
We'll get into it later, but it's Jake.
I just want to see this spin the block.
Jake's got something to share.
Yeah, facts. Hey, yo, it's your boy, Spence.
Wow, that was anticlimactic.
Literally.
And our woo, 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 woo. And our guest for this week, damn, I'm not good at this. I didn't plan it. I was gonna say a bunch of great
Come
things.
on. I'm
Just
waiting.
clever.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting. You
My
got
bad.
that big vocabulary?
Shots fired.
Man down. See, I don't know much about you.
Mm-hmm. You gonna learn today.
There we go. Basically, C gonna teach us some shit about polyamory, polygamy. It's polygamy versus polyamory. That's what we're talking about, right?
But isn't monogamy in there?
I mean, we'll just put polyamory as the topic, and we'll
Okay.
get into everything that encompasses and any of the verses you might have and
Bet.
stuff like that.
So before we dive into that, give them an actual introduction for yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I fumbled the bag.
No
That
worries.
was horrible.
I'm C, otherwise known as Jade Sin. That's
Do,
my
do, do.
yes. Thank you so much. My online persona. I am a queer spiritual divinator working on the East Coast. I specialize in massage. sex work and kink, specifically rope and leather. And yeah, I'm looking to kind of work within like the queer community and, do some like intimacy work with folks and kind of bridge the gap between all of these things that I love.
So I have to ask, only the queer community? And like, what does that community consist of?
I mean, I like only the queer community, you know what I mean? Like the queer community is like everyone that identifies as queer, and queer is a spectrum, right? So like anywhere you fall on that spectrum, even if that's a tiny bit to like so impossibly gay, like, you're within that compass.
No, this is great because what's the biggest difference between queer and gay?
Truthfully, it's whether or not that individual wants to use that term. Some people, especially I would say some people that grew up in a time where queer was used as an insult might not feel like reclaiming that term for themselves and just have, buried it and instead use gay. I find that some people more of my age group will use queer as kind of like a
term of endearment.
Right. I don't want to be gay or lesbian. It's more of like queer as like an umbrella term of like, here's the umbrella, and then under this falls gay, lesbian, pansexual, demisexual, and then like all this. So like queer is like big term, but I'm saying that not every individual uses queer. So that's why you'll see gay and lesbian also used.
So you could, based on what you're saying, and I don't want to offend anyone, that's not what I mean, but LGBTQ can be summed up under queer if you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, like you can, so like it would be like, you could use the Q for like queer or questioning, you know what I mean? So like the terms can kind of very funnily like fit together, but also like encompass each other, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, interchangeable.
Yeah. It really just depends on the context in which you use it. So like when I tell people that I'm queer, it's because like I don't say that I'm lesbian because technically I have like non-binary partners. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't technically only date women because they're non-binary. So that wouldn't be truthful to me, right? So I don't consider myself a lesbian to me, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I'm a lesbian because it's just easy.
I don't want to explain this.
All the other shit, but
I've already learned so much about this community within like 2 minutes. So this is gonna be a great episode.
Yeah,
this is great.
Cool.
Now, pause for that. So normally we start off with like just a random question before we dive into the nitty and gritty of the episode. So I was watching the show Scandal today. Anybody?
Oh, with Kerry Washington.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I just watched the pilot episode, right? And for those of you who haven't watched it, old girl was cheating with the president and blah, blah, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Just to give a little context.
As she should.
Whoa.
Getting her bag. I'm sorry. Old girl can do whatever the hell she wants.
All right. We'll talk about that part later.
Scandalous.
So the question arose while I was watching that, right? And I'm going to kind of tweak it, but the first question is, who is weaker / more at fault? The person who did the cheating or the person who cheated with? You get what I'm saying? So like,
okay.
So yes. You're dating me, you cheat on me with Spencer. Who's weaker, Spencer or you? Because you did the cheating or he allowed you in.
Is weak the context?
Right, that's what I was gonna ask. I
think so.
Or at fault.
Well, that's why I said weaker or more at fault. But the reason I say weaker, because like if you cheated, like that's the easy way out, in my opinion. So you were too weak to just break up with your partner. But that's why I say weaker / at fault. And I guess weaker is a perspective word. So let's say at fault.
You want to take this?
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of like the age-old question of like, who do you blame, right? The person that's in the relationship, or like, I guess typically people will go for the other woman in that case, right? So I have never really understood that, but as someone who has been in a monogamous relationship and has had that happen, right? I have felt that jealousy like towards that other woman. And honestly, like, I think it comes down to really like how we're conditioned as children, like to compete for men as women, and how we view each other. Ultimately as like, kind of like competing for a commodity versus like forming relationships with people. So I was seeing how that was then playing into me feeling animosity towards, someone that had no obligation towards me, when really my partner was the one that had the commitment to me. And he was the one who was not being, committed to our relationship, whereas she's kind of like an outside party. Now, whether or not she knew we were dating is another thing. But again, like, I believe that individuals have their, you make your bed and lie in it. You want to get into that mess? Absolutely go for it. Right. But you know what you're getting into. Versus the people that have chosen to make a committed decision to somebody, you are then breaking that. You know what I'm saying? When there are other options like polyamory. But, it's none of my business, right? Like, what do I know?
I'm so glad you went first because I don't need to say anything. That was dope. I don't. Yeah, I guess that I always thought it was weird that you were mad at the person they cheated with, because like that person, like, who cares? That person's an outlier.
Right. But like ultimately you don't want to be mad at your partner, right? Because you love them. If you're going to hold anyone accountable, hold the person accountable who you decide to be with, who you're like, hey, listen, it's just going to be us. This person on the outside, I never understood why people wanted to fight that person, because unless it's like your best friend. Right. That's when it gets a little weird. When it's like someone close to you, a family member or whatever. But if it's just like some random person, why are you mad at them? Like, they have no commitment to you. They don't give a fuck about you. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm going to just play devil's advocate because I more or less agree with what you guys are saying. So, like, just to play devil's advocate, the person who cheated with, like, that's like me dangling candy. You're on a diet and I'm dangling candy in front of you. If I don't do that, you're probably not going to break your diet. Right. But then on the flip side, it was like, people are who they are. They're going to break their diet, whether it's with you or it's someone else. You get what I'm trying to say?
This is, have you seen the show Suits?
Yeah.
Have you seen all of it?
No.
All right. How far into it have you watched?
Like very few, like here and there.
Okay.
I've seen a couple episodes.
So in Suits, there is Harvey Specter, who's very disciplined and very straightforward. And then there's his counterpart, Louis Litt, who's very emotional, very impetuous, who's just like, oh my gosh, this is happening right now. I know I'm not supposed to do it. Or
I feel like you just described you and me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who's who, but
we're just going to let that rock.
That's hilarious. This is why this works. So, and Lewis is just like, yo, listen, like, I know what I said, but this is how I feel, so I have to do this, right? Where Harvey's just like, no, there's black, there's white. I play in the gray area, but I know right from wrong.
Right.
And I feel like it falls under that, but I mean, it's hard for me to say that person's at fault.
All right, I get it. So when we started with that question, you kind of started to hit on it when you said polygamy, right?
Polyamory.
Polyamory. Okay.
And I need to know the difference.
Please.
I got you.
Because we were talking to Elijah last week. By the way, shout out to Samia Cafe. They're not paying us for this spot that we're about to do, but go check them out. 1283 Main Street.
Gang, gang.
Best coffee shop in Connecticut. She's one of the baristas.
That's right.
And she's great and she draws cute messages. So go check out Samia Cafe. Back to your regular scheduled program.
Yo, that coconut latte though. Oh my gosh, with the 3 shots. All right,
so we were talking to him and I was like, yeah, polygamy. First, I kept messing it up. I was like, polygamy versus, I'm about to do it right now, polygamy. And he was like, that's not it. I was like, no, I know, but I just keep like, because saying it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, whatever you do, don't say that in front of her.
That's hilarious.
I was like, wait, like she knows I don't mean anything.
Yeah,
like,
no, absolutely.
He was like, no. Have her explain it for you, but go ahead.
He's so respectful of it. You gotta love it.
So polyamory is the act of someone having multiple intimate relationships with individuals, whether or not those have sexual aspects to them depend on, the situation. Polygamy is being married two individuals. Now, polygamy is illegal in all 50 states,
Yep.
except for Utah, which you can find a little loophole where people will occasionally have a
Progressive
second,
baby.
as they call it, a cohabitating with another like marriage like relationship.
Did C
So
just
you-
snitch?
I love it.
Did you say
Don't
earlier
like
we don't
Utah.
like snitches?
Don't like Utah.
Wait, what's wrong with Utah?
I don't know. I just
'Cause
don't
if
like it.
So,
All our
one,
Utah listeners, you suck.
sounds like we have a hater on our hands.
We
Just
didn't
kidding,
need
though.
that.
I mean,
That's
I'm
from
all for
C.
polygamy, though. Again, consensually.
Right. So, polyamory is just being intimate one way or another. Doesn't have to mean sex.
Correct.
It could be mental.
Right. But these are relationships,
Right,
right?
right.
Like,
So
it doesn't
you're-
have to mean dating, though, like exclusively dating. But I mean, like, relationships. These are not like strangers you meet on the street and you're like, hey, like, let's go
Right.
out for drinks. Like, these are people that you're going to go on dates with, or like,
Like, we're
go
connected.
to. Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then monogamy is just the
You and I, we in this together.
right regular what society dictates is
right,
normal.
exactly.
So
Couples
let's-
privilege, two people, etc.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Because, well, the interesting thing, Spencer's been on this show on record saying he doesn't really and correct me if I say it wrong, doesn't really understand like the having one partner.
I don't
Or
understand.
say how you
Got it. I don't understand the urge for humans to want to be in a relationship with one person. I feel like it's hard for one person to fulfill all of your needs, whether it's
Period.
mentally, sexually, physically, whatever. But in our society and what we grow up as, like, I just want to find that one person I can spend the rest of my life with. I just never understood that urge. Granted, I'm in a relationship happily.
That's why I'm glad he said that and not
Yeah,
me.
I was
'cause
like,
I'm like,
But it's a learning process for me, right? Because when you're single, I can only speak for myself. When I'm single, like I'm single, I have no ties to anyone. I enjoy a bunch of different people for their energy, intellectually, or whatever.
Mhm.
Now, being in a relationship, it's like, all right, what halts do I put on certain relationships, and like, what am I allowed to do? What feelings am I allowed to have? What conversations am I allowed to have based on society norms, right? And making sure that I don't hurt my partner's feelings.
Mhm.
Sorry, so that was me clarifying.
Yeah, no, everything that you kind of encompassed in your feelings about, like, I don't feel like, one person can fulfill my needs. Like, that's kind of like the backbone of polyamory, and like people starting to discover that they're like, maybe monogamy is not for me
Dun, dun,
in some way,
dun.
shape, or form, right? Yeah, because that's how I feel. I'm like, not one person can possibly fulfill all your needs. And as someone who was a serial monogamist for 10 years,
Serial monogamous.
literally you go from
I'm
long
start calling
relationship,
people that.
like 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, right? Like, these are long haul relationships with people, back to back to back, right? And like, not really taking the time to, one, like self-actualize or like take care of yourself after all of that. And two, kind of not even really knowing who you are without another partner.
And what
because-
exactly you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, codependency.
That goes in the gender roles for me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no,
No, the whole codependency thing.
oh yeah.
It
Darth Vader and shit.
I'm trying to not say it and be offensive. It's just weird to me when you go on social media and you see all these women who, obviously, I'm all for equal rights. Women should have equal rights. But I feel like it's weird that you want equal rights but not equal everywhere. I want equal rights to do certain things, but
Okay, so what do you mean by that, though?
let's be problematic. So say chivalry. All right. Should chivalry only be is chivalry a masculine trait?
I don't know. Okay, so personally, I think that individuals should like get into a relationship and define like what the rules and boundaries of that relationship is, including gender roles, who wants to do what, like all of that should be a conversation.
Like contractually?
Not contractually, just
understanding.
a conversation.
Okay,
Yeah.
right,
And like,
right.
doesn't have to be all up front, like, you know, at the dinner table, like this can be over
I'm not
time.
mowing the lawn.
But you're like, hey, like, you know, me doing the X, Y, and Z feels good to me. Like this is affirming to my gender. It feels good to me. So I want to do these things, and maybe your partner wants to do something else, and then you negotiate in between if something doesn't feel right, right? So that way you don't run into the like, oh, is chivalry really dead? Where like people are really just like not understanding each other because they're not talking. Like if you want someone to open the door for you, communicate that. Like
I feel good when you open the door for me.
that's it. That's all you have to do is share that with your partner, and then they can make the proper adjustment versus being like, well, I believe that my partner should open the door for me, regardless of what your gender is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you communicate what you want, and you'll get it. Usually.
I love
Fuck with that. Yeah. So let's hit back on like the polyamory, right? And maybe one, I'm very ignorant to the whole like umbrella of such. So I will admit that. And maybe it's because I've been conditioned, like most of us have been, to say like, you have one partner and that's it, right?
Yep.
So like when you're young and you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want, I think it's more acceptable to maybe cheat or like be with multiple people, right? If you're in a relationship.
Yeah, because you chalk it up to being like,
I don't know any better.
Yeah, you know what I like, whether it's right or wrong, whatever, right? But then as you get older, me and Elijah once had this conversation for an hour, drunk at a bar, right? And we went back and forth, but it's like, at what point is it like, maybe you don't have everything that I want, you know what I mean, to fulfill me, but you have mostly everything, and I want you to only be mine and me only yours, and I don't want to share, because my mind goes like, okay, well then you and I get married, you are my wife. I do not want to share you with anyone else. So I'm assuming you could be married and still polyamorous?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so how do, because maybe this is just me and my emotional Libra self that like, nah, that's my wife. I don't want to share her. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, how does having multiple intimate connections fit into that?
That's a great question.
So I know a lot of individuals that are very happily married and polyamorous, like have multiple partners, whether that, you know, whatever the structure may be.
Right.
But I think it's important to remember you're not sharing your wife. Remember, like your wife is her own autonomous being. So her happiness is hers to decide. Now, whether or not you can fulfill all of those parts of her happiness is truly up to her and up to what she's going through in her life, right? So it's not really for you to say that like, oh, I'm not going to share my partner, because really what that's saying is I'm not going to allow my partner to explore the possible parts of her that could bring her happiness.
Damn.
Because that then threatens my core value of whether or not she will stay committed to me and what that means. You know what I'm saying? So now you're doing a like her versus you thing when it should really be like, let's open this up to conversation. We're not saying that we have to make any moves, but like that's also how, you know, open relationships or open marriages can work, right? But communication is that backbone.
Right. That's so, everything you said like makes 100% sense.
I don't think I've had anyone explain it that eloquently.
Like as simple, but like,
Thank you.
no, I'm dead serious, because it's like even and you'll be able to hit on this more than me. Will and Jada,
Right.
just kind of opened up about their relationship. What?
So Will is like one of my
Brothers?
Nah, not like, so when I did a lot of learning, like when I worked at Verizon, I learned a lot from Will, from like social media and from like doing research on their family. And the more you read, like if you ever really dove into them, you knew, but like it never came out until like somebody got sensitive about it. And you're just like, I'm gonna tell the world because I'm hurt. Which is whatever, it is what it is. But now they had to like, now you're on a, like the platform is y'all's. Yeah, like now we know what y'all been doing behind closed doors, which is your business. So I've always thought the relationship was dope because it's like, we're in this together. We have a beautiful family, you know, however they want to live their lives. But at the end of the day, we're not going anywhere. So however you want to make yourself happy and however I'm going to make myself happy, we're going to come together and be happy as a unit. We just have to figure out what that looks like, right? I'm just getting blank.
Yeah.
stares.
I mean, like, no, but I mean, like, look at how we, you know, the first thing we saw from like Jada and Will was their parenting, right? In terms of like progressiveness, quote unquote, or like
Won't
out of
swear
the
around
boxness or whatever, you know,
Just let
right?
them do their thing.
Let them do their thing. So anybody who really thought that they were in a monogamous relationship was truly kidding themselves. Like, truly. Like, you're in Hollywood. Also, Hollywood is huge for that. Like, huge for like kink and swinging. Like, there is its own like, you know, faction built under like all of that like very vanilla surface. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fucks with it. Those are my people.
Yeah, no,
It's like my dad.
I mean, yeah.
So no, I want to hear your real, because my man is like, not to like blow up your spot, but like when Jacob like wants to be in a relationship, he's like, no, I want my person. Like, I want my loyal person that like we're for each other.
That's what I was. That's why I kind of just like opened my mouth and words didn't come out. Because like I understand. First of all, polyamory is obviously not for everybody, but
Right,
it's
but
to be
polyamory-
understood.
Right. Polyamory also doesn't mean there is no loyalty. Like, there is loyalty and commitment still there. It's just not in the form of a monogamous relationship between two people. It's just multiple of those.
It's like, I'm not going to hold you accountable for everything I want to do.
But here's the thing, right? Say we're in a polyamorous relationship.
Sure.
Did it right.
I love this.
Right? Say us
This
three.
is cute. This is our little polycule.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
SAT word of the day.
Polycule.
Polycule.
Wow.
Polycule.
Use it.
Polycule. Polycule.
There we go. Is that an adjective verb now?
So this is a relationship?
Yeah.
We go together now?
That's like your little, like, you know, your gang.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're queer.
No, you're like your gang, like your crew.
Oh, gang. I thought
Yeah.
you said we're gay. Okay, my bad.
I mean, like, yeah, we're gang.
You're like, we're gay. I was like, wait, we're queer? All right, go ahead.
You're like, wow, you're really setting this up, but okay.
Just want to let y'all know his girl's right there. So say us three are together, right? And like you and I are having sex or whatever, right?
Okay.
But you go to Spencer for like deep conversations and mental
words.
stimulation, right? I would like the person I am today, not like speaking outside of this imaginary situation. I would feel slighted if like my girl felt the need to go somewhere else to like, babe, I just can't talk to you. I feel better talking to Spencer. You know, like I would almost feel a type of way like, well, then what am I here for?
Sex.
Right. But
Okay. All right, hold on. So was the arrangement between you two to only have sex and no emotional communication?
See, but that's my point. I'm speaking like me personally. I wouldn't be able to come to that. I understand it. I understand everything you're saying, but I would struggle with the idea of a woman coming to me and saying like, listen, I only want you for sex. I want him for mental stimulation. I want him to buy me shit. Well, anyone can buy you shit. I don't care. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like me as the person that I am would struggle. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, am I not enough? But I'm like, well, if you want to be with me, what do you need other people for?
So, I mean, I don't know anybody who compartmentalizes like that. I'm sure there are people that like, you know, have people to like fulfill certain needs. Which again is fine if that is consented to between the two adults, right? But you're talking about a situation that isn't consented to because you want those things from your partner, right? You want those, like the emotional aspects back from that partner. So then just find a partner that will do that for you. It's literally that simple. Like, it sounds like really complex, but like literally you just like, no, like you literally like you find someone who, so let's say we're in a relationship, correct?
I like these imaginations.
Yeah, for real. So we're in a relationship, right? Like, let's for all intents and purposes say that we are both polyamorous.
Right.
Consensually, we have agreed upon this. We are okay with seeing other people, and we have established a boundary set for which we want to, encompass our relationship and kind of like, set limits on what we want, to happen. So let's say I come to you and I'm like, hey, I have a person that I'm really interested in, blah, 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 like we met here, whatever details I might share with you. Right. So again, this is also a conversation that we've had. How much do you want to know about my partners? Do you want to know who I'm dating, like where I met them? Like, you have all of these conversations about like, what are you ready to receive? What do you want to hear? Like, where are you standing in this? Because like, you don't have to jump into polyamory and be like, balls deep and be like, okay, cool, I'm great with everything. Like, you can have 10 partners and it's going to be fine. I promise. Like, it's probably not going to be fine for anyone. But it's a learning process. So you and your partner can keep, having that conversation and keep renegotiating where you feel comfortable with, knowing information. Like, some partners want to know absolutely everything. Some partners don't want to know anything. Like, and
is there a main number one?
In hierarchical, which is so hard to say, polyamory, there is a structure where you might have a primary partner, a secondary, and a tertiary partner.
I like that word.
However,
so much.
I find not within my like gaggle of people, we don't love. Yeah, right. Not the people I'm dating, but also them too. We don't love that because we don't like to structure people in our life. We feel like that kind of feels monogamous anyway.
Right.
For a long time, I was writing as solo polyam or like a relationship anarchist. And so those are two different terms. So like solo polyam meaning like, hey, it's just me doing my thing, chilling, like looks very similar to dating, right? But it's like me, I'm my own primary partner. So like regardless of who I'm dating, like I fulfill all my needs. Like I am all set. Everybody else is excess. Relationship anarchists are like the structure of relationships in which you like, do that thing where you're like, oh, let me start dating someone and then talk to nobody else ever again.
That part.
That is really like the death of like relationship anarchists.
I don't have any more female friends.
So your relationships, instead of being ranked based on like, what that like perceived status should get, like, romance should be first or whatever it is, like you hang out with people because you just love to hang out with them. I feel like hanging out with Spencer today because I feel like hanging out with Spencer today. Like, no ifs or buts. Like, that's just who I want to spend my energy with. And I feel like that keeps at least for me, it keeps me authentic because I'm only hanging out with the people who I am actually consenting to show up for, like with my energy.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
I do. Now,
I will blink so
what I'm
talking about.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I noticed you've said it multiple times. Why do you keep saying consensually? Like, what is the importance of consent behind? Like, does that, like, if you don't get consent, what? Are you just
No, I mean, it's a great question.
Are you just then a cheater?
Yes. No, I mean,
consent from your partner.
Yeah, I don't mean in terms of consent, because she keeps saying like consensually. Blah blah blah.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, what importance does consent play to this? Because you keep saying it.
I also keep stressing consent because I guess in my own life, I have a partner that is coming from a like previously monogamous background and kind of being introduced to polyamory. So the important is consent over coercion, right? You don't want someone to feel coerced into being polyamorous because they have no other option if they want to be with you. You want them to consent to that openly. You want them to be like, this feels good for me. This is something that I'm choosing for myself.
Okay.
Right. Because you're choosing polyamory for yourself, not for your partner. Like I choose polyamory for me because I know I'm a codependent bitch. So I cannot, seriously, like I get really involved with my partners. Like I know exactly like how I get like way too involved with everything in their life and start to lose track of mine. So this is me putting myself first continually every day and choosing, and by doing that and choosing that, I have been like continually becoming the best person like over time.
Can you explain that a little more? Because to me, that sounded very overwhelming. So you have multiple people and you're polycule, but you're like invested on all of them.
No. So I'm saying when I was like in monogamous relationships, I would be so invested with my partner. You know, I can't breathe. Oh my God, I can't live without him.
What time did you wake up?
But literally, like texting all the time, type thing. But also just like losing track of being like, why did these people become interested in me in the first place? Oh, because you dance, you write, you etc. Oh, you mean all of the things you haven't done in the 10 months you've been dating? Oh. Wink, wink. All of the things you let, you know, slide by the wayside. No, what?
Whoever the camera person. No.
Oh, yeah, right? And I was like, what?
I looked right at the camera.
She's behind the camera. You said that.
What? My bad, yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Like, when you see the video, you'll understand. I looked right at it. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. That's hilarious.
So
my bad.
So how does okay. I don't know if this is changing gears much or it's still
How about really quick? Let me just for you guys, let me like umbrella all this stuff. So like, all right, so we'll start with polyamory, right? So polyamory, ethical non-monogamy.
Cool.
2 terms. Some people use them interchangeably. The reason why I don't like the term ethical non-monogamy for myself, right? So ethical and then other is non-monogamy, right? So like 3 words. No, because I'm a visual person, so like I gotta break it down in my head. Because I don't believe that not being monogamous, like I don't believe in being a non-thing. Like that polyamory is the non-form of monogamy. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's not the opposite.
Right. We're just polyamorous. That's it. Like there is no opposite because monogamy is not the norm. Like it is just the norm because that's what mainstream society has set as the norm, but that's not the norm for everybody. And that shouldn't be everybody's choosing norm.
Heard you.
Yeah. So you have those like 2 bigger terms. And then under that, you have things like open relationships or swinging. And then like,
that's where I was
then you get into like, yeah. So those are the structure in like, so that's what's really cool is you have the umbrella terms. And then all of these are just like different ways to structure relationships. But all of these like structures of relationships are based on communication because they're literally like just slightly different from each other, but not by much. But like these boundaries and negotiations are slightly different.
You'd be a good mime.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm seeing a tree with a bunch of different branches.
No, that's perfect, because that's exactly what I'm going for. Because yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Got it.
So, I mean, we hit on a couple different. I had swingers on here. Mm-hmm. Hit on swingers. So swingers. Swinging is a form of social sex. So that's usually a established relationship, and I'm saying usually because again, like, you know,
there's a new episode special and it's really popular right now. Love Life or whatever. Have you seen it? What? You guys haven't seen this? It's called, what's it called? Love Life? Sex Life.
What?
Yeah. You got to watch it. It kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, because it was like. You gotta watch it.
Okay. Growling at us. You want the Darth Vader to a puppy in fucking 20 minutes and shit.
The woman just like, she's just so fucking annoying because there's no communication. Everything. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Back to swinging.
But yeah, so sex life, because swinging's a big part of it.
Yeah. So again, that is I mean, there can either be one person, both people, a combination of who does what when. But again, all conversations, usually swapping partners. And again, it usually does mean sex. I mean, typically the term swinging is connotated with the
just
sexual
sharing
act.
Partners sexually.
Right. Because just sharing partners in general would just be polyamory, right? Dun, 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 dun.
Look at that tree.
There's that tree again. There it goes.
Oh, man.
Doing its thing.
So this is like far left field.
Ooh.
Do sugar babies fit into polyamory?
I mean, sure, but
Or is that something totally different?
Yeah, totally different.
So
Sugar babies is like career path. I would say like that's like a form of work.
Where do I put in my application?
You could be monogamous and be a sugar baby.
Where do I put in my application?
Online.
Wait,
There's
what?
just websites. Like Seeking Arrangements is one of them, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just like with any dating site, like prepare to be disappointed, prepare to be ghosted, especially when there's anything
By an old
involving
lady?
like money or transactional gifts or anything by anyone, truly.
Damn. Have you ever been a sugar baby? Can I ask you that? You don't have to answer that.
No, I mean, totally fine. I've never done sugaring because I just personally don't think it's worth the money. I feel like the work that I do is much more worth the money and more in my realm of like what I want to give for services. I don't want to give nobody emotional nothing.
What work do you? Said
like
the
back
work
to
that you do.
the massage stuff.
Yeah, so that's separate. Well, it's actually not separate, but so the work that I do in terms of like sugaring and like that area in terms of sex work is like pro doming. So that's like femdom or like female domination. And I use just pro doming because I'm like, meh, femme is like meh. You know, I might wear a suit and still step on you. So, you know, to each their own.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Can you unpack that for me?
Yeah. What would you like to unpack?
You said I might wear a suit and stuff. So I used to work at the Gold Club, right?
That's right.
And there was this little dude who used to come in.
This little dude.
He used to make shoes.
Okay.
Oh, you told us about him.
Yeah, what he would do is he would come in and he would find his Cinderella to wear this shoe and kick him in the nuts. And he would pay top dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe it on your face. Yeah. So could you unpack this? Yep. I might wear a suit and step on you.
Yeah.
Statement.
So there's a lovely world of kink and fetish, and within that,
which we're about to dive into. Please, I'm
awesome.
genuinely intrigued.
And so within that, you can find yourself many niches to work in and to kind of like cultivate and create these services and kind of make yourself a commodity. And it can be kind of cool and freeing, and definitely has its drawbacks and stuff like that. But it's a deep world, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so homeboy definitely has a deep masochism fetish.
That just sounds painful.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna ask what some of the drawbacks were. Is it emotionally?
I mean, like the drawbacks to like sex work in general is just like, I mean, you think of any jobs like shitty drawbacks, right? So like, you're dealing with clients, you're selling sex, so you know you are putting yourself in a vulnerable position, which can be potentially unsafe, physically, or just, you know, our government hates sex workers, you know, and continually tries to prosecute them. If you want to watch a really good documentary, it's called No Human Involved. It is about a woman who was imprisoned in an Arizona facility and left out for 48 hours. No food, no water, and she died because she offered a cop a $20 blowjob. So if you would like to know more about what sex workers deal with, kind of, and this is, mind you, this is just, I'm sorry, not just, this is a, you know, white cis sex worker. So imagine what trans, queer, black sex workers deal with.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying? So it gets deep.
That's crazy.
It gets deep.
So you're into roping. Did I say that right?
Yeah. So I'm into rope bondage. Yeah.
Explain.
So I say rope bondage because the Japanese form of rope bondage is called shibari, but because I'm not Japanese, I don't practice that. So I just call it rope bondage.
I don't know why that's so
there's
funny.
Different forms. There's like
it's
shibari.
Just funny the way you like broke it down. It's like, you know, I don't do this. So
well, no, because I want to give you all the context. So because
right.
you might see shibari or kinbaku and be like, well, how come you didn't use those terms? But that's why. Those are other forms of rope bondage, but I am not Japanese, so I don't use those.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'm a child. I went back to high school when she said Shibari. I was like, Shibuya.
Shibuya.
Shibuya, bro. All right. My bad. When she said, I was like, wait, is that the same thing? I was like, it can't be the same thing. We weren't talking about that in high school. So is this something that you do to other people or you have done to you?
Both. I rope top and bottom.
Please explain. I don't know what that means.
So, a rope top or a rigger is somebody generally who ties. A rigger, RIGGER, is somebody who ties. And a rope bottom or rope bunny, if they like that, is somebody who is tied.
Is it painful? I've seen
It
some of
can
the stuff
be
you like.
if you want it to be.
And says that with a straight face. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's creepy. It's like if you wanted to.
I would love it to be, personally.
It like you can't just do this anywhere because like you got to have a right infrastructure for this. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So is this like, do you go somewhere for this, or is this like in your place of peace?
I mean, it depends. I'm not doing any suspension work at the moment, so I don't need like a huge rig or facility or anything. I do mostly floor work right now, so you know you can use literally anywhere you have an open floor, open space. We go to parks, wherever the hell you want.
Yeah. Okay. Is this like hog tying? Like,
yeah, I mean, I can definitely do a form of hog tying, absolutely.
So you
But I
just,
feel like my form of hog tying is much more fun.
so you're tying someone up, and then what? Like just
So that's well, right, but that's the beauty of it is they get to decide. So then what? You get to customize this experience, right? So, and that's really what I end up want. That
and
this is what
paying
I'm
for this experience.
This is this. So now we're starting to get into what is Jade Sin, right? What do I really want to do with my life? So this is it, right? Because I'm packaging this experience because you're pretty much buying time with me. You're not buying massage. You're not buying rope. You're not buying that. You're buying
You're
the time
a therapist.
with me. Kind of, you know, of a sort.
Wow.
You know, I don't know. Wellness dom doesn't feel like the right term, but it's kind of what I'm like umbrellas, you know, because it's got, you know, massage and energy work. Like that's a form of wellness. And also like the creating intimacy between folks with also like, you know, stressing that like this doesn't have to be inherently sexual, right? Because the clients that I'm doing this rope with, for the most part, I'm not having a sexual relationship with, but we're still creating relationships with intimacy that is real.
I like that.
That's what. So do like couples come to you, or is this like a one-on-one
Absolutely,
thing?
and I love it.
I could tell.
Yes, I love it. I love when couples come to me. Yeah, absolutely. And I also want people to like learn from within the community because rope is very gatekept, especially financially. There's a lot of white men tying people and only tying just, you know, like other white slender bodied females, you know, or even just white men charging Black people to learn rope, which I feel like is blasphemous. Like, absolutely not.
Wait, why?
You said why?
Yeah, like is it because they're white or is it because they're white
yes,
men?
Absolutely.
Or is it because...
all of the above.
Oh, okay.
Yes, A, B, and C. A, B, C, and D.
Or is it the fact that they're charging?
All of the above.
Got
all of
it.
the above. Yeah, no. I have a friend in Baltimore who they actually are opening up a space to host spots specifically for like queer BIPOC individuals. And it's because they don't believe that, you know, white individuals should be predominantly in this space teaching and cultivating what's going on here when, you know, in reality, a lot of the basis of kink comes from non-white individuals.
Ooh, yeah, from the queer community that they don't like, based on Dave Chappelle. How do you feel about Dave Chappelle's side push?
I haven't seen, I've heard about the like most recent
like a few of them. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I don't know. I've heard the trans community hates Dave Chappelle, and that is what I've heard as in terms of like news, but I haven't yet to form my own opinions.
I saw the clip of what he said.
But you have to watch
Right. So I haven't seen the whole thing. I just saw that one portion of what he said.
You know what it is? All of my like everything I've been bringing to this episode has just been missing because y'all don't watch the same shit I watch.
But I know what you're talking about. And the thing that I had to like partially shake my head at was like, he's pulling the whole like, oh, I have a Black friend thing because he's being like, well, I have a trans friend. I can't be transphobic. Like, look at my trans friend I just brought on stage for you. Like, He's literally tokenizing his trans friend in front of everybody.
You gotta
trying to pleading to the trans community though. And I get it, but like he can't use his trans friend's story and their experiences to make himself look better or to alleviate whatever he said to hurt people in the trans community or to create hurt within their community.
I get that. I think
if his friend wants to willingly use their story to do that, that's their own thing, but he still can't use it. You get like, it's not yours to use, right? Because you're not trans. Like ultimately you still hold that cis privilege.
With that, I can't talk about this without giving it away. So you have to.
I know, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, both of you have to watch it because he explains it, I think, very thoroughly. But I get it. Like which is what social media is today, right? You get a partial bit of information and then you make all these like assumptions for it. I'm not saying that's you.
Right. No, I know what you mean. Right.
General,
right.
right?
Like what I was about to do.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I saw it on Wikipedia, so this is X, Y, Z.
Literally, like, so this is bad.
Yeah, whereas like everything you've been talking about, it's either from experience or you've done a lot of thorough research. Like you've been speaking very educated.
Like you have notes.
Yeah. You're very educated on this. Whereas like the average person is like, oh, I saw it on TikTok, so this must be
gotta
true.
be real.
Yeah. But I would love to have the conversation with y'all once y'all see it.
We're gonna revisit.
Word. So I have a quick question, and I mean we almost been chopping it up for about an hour, so we're probably gonna, wrap up in a bit. So we've kind of already gone over the pros of polyamory, right? So what are some cons or drawbacks of being in a polyamorous is situation the right word to use, or
communication?
That's a negative?
You could just say relationship or just being polyamorous.
Okay. Being polyamorous, what are some drawbacks and cons?
I will say from my own personal experience, polyamory forced me to do a lot of self-reflection. So if you are not ready to do that work, this is perhaps not the choice for you. Imagine, the amount of effort, and again, like, it's hard to say that because like varying relationships can have like, different amounts of effort established, right? Being like, I'm only going to do X, Y, and Z with you, and that's how we do things, and that's cool for both of us, right? But I'm saying, imagine having relationships, being in a relationship with somebody and the amount that you care about that person and multiplying that by 3. But then you're also multiplying everything else, right? Everybody comes with their own baggage and trauma and you're constantly negotiating, constantly communicating, constantly self-checking in to be like, do I really want this? What do I really want? But again, like for me, I feel like it keeps me my most authentic self. I have checked in with myself more times in the past year or 2 that I've been doing this than in the entire 10 years I've been monogamous.
Is this constantly stepping out of your comfort zone, or is this now your comfort zone? Like, was monogamy not your comfort zone?
I mean, monogamy, I think, was my comfort zone because that was all I knew, right? Okay. So you build your house in a shitty home type situation. Like it's seriously, it's like a terrible, like monogamy for me is a terrible neighborhood, right? Like the house just it never fit. Like could be a really cute house, could be great, but like we're just not in a great neighborhood. I don't belong here. Like we gotta go.
Building a mansion in the hood.
Right. All we did was just pick up the house and we moved 2 blocks over and it's busting over here. It's great. Neighbors are nice as hell. Come over, bring lasagna. Like crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's dope. But again, it's a lot of self-work and it's tough conversations, because again, the fun part about polyamory is being like, yeah, you get to date anyone. The not fun part is when your partner starts dating people and then you have to sit at home and do some unpacking, right? Sit at home and be like, what is it like to sit with jealousy? What is it like to, experience allowing somebody to be their true authentic self?
Do you just not care? Like,
no, it's not. First of all, polyamorous people definitely experience jealousy. Jealousy is normal and it is, I'm not gonna say it's a welcome emotion, but like everyone knows what that feeling is like, and it's about how we sit with it and how we, choose to act on it or not act on it, which ultimately gives jealousy its good or bad connotation, right? Because inherently we're all going to feel that. And it feels good to feel that sometimes, right? Like you want to know you care. It's like, oh yeah, excitement, passion. But you don't want to let that get out of control, right? There's always a limit to things. So, I definitely care. And it definitely, it sucks. Like sometimes when you're, doing, but that's the thing though, is I have cultivated so much for myself because I've done so much working on myself that my partner going out and enjoying time and energy with somebody that they just enjoy makes me happy because they're doing something that makes them happy. And I've got my own shit going on. We're okay, I find it that when people don't have something or have things that they are very passionate about that fulfill them, they want to gravitate onto their partner's happiness, right? Because they have control over that. They're like, I'm trying to just, this thing is the only thing I can control, right? So that can be easy to try to like lead and take that. My homeboy.
Where did you just pull toilet paper from? You spit on your shoe all this whole time?
Yeah, I have no idea where this just came from.
Where did you materialize
you're bold
that
for
from?
touching it.
I'm hoping it's from me.
Can't stand you.
That's wild.
I resonate with what you're saying because I see with a lot of like friends, family, just a bunch of people, they go in. I feel like they get into relationships for the wrong reason because they're looking for someone to fulfill them and they want to be codependent, like you were saying. Whereas they don't have the passion and desire to fulfill themselves. So now you're going to someone with your glass half empty, hoping that they fill it, not realizing when they fill it, they're now either going to be half empty or empty.
Right.
That's
right.
a fact.
Right. Because ultimately, like all those tweets that are like, get yourself a man that'll buy you flowers and do your man. Like, why can't go buy your damn self some flowers?
Yeah, if you like
treat
flowers,
yourself
go grow
nice,
some.
pour yourself a bath. Seriously, get to know yourself. Like, I feel that people should sit and just spend time with themselves.
That's what the pandemic was for.
Like, on God, no, like, know what it's like to spend time with yourself because, and first of all, it's uncomfortable at first. You just be like, ew, this is what I'm like, just raw. Like, this is me just raw talking. This is so weird. But, you increase it 5, 10, 15 minutes, just chilling with yourself, checking in, and all of a sudden, you're just going to start noticing over time you're a little more tapped in.
Word.
That's when you start to love yourself. Like, damn, I am dope.
No,
I'm not weird. I'm dope.
I told myself, I was like, this year is going to be the year that I just like really enjoy my style and I'm just going to like feel comfortable in whatever I wear and it's going to be cool. And I have done absolutely that. So like, I believe
That's
you
love.
can manifest that for yourself.
That's great.
Love. What?
Yes.
Oh, we have a question from the audience.
From the audience.
Yeah.
Audience member.
Wait.
I love this.
I wanted to ask this earlier. But
Yes.
you guys kind of switched topics. So,
And she wrote it down. I love her.
She's great.
Same.
God, wow.
It was like you had said something and then everyone started laughing.
Of course, right?
You said something
Men.
where like you were questioning why people dated you. Like, was it because of the things you did, like dancing, singing, or whatever, when the pandemic happened? So is that really what kind of like caused you to like think about like, does this person like me for me, or do they like me because I'm doing these things?
So I think I was
The face.
So like dancing, writing, rope, whatever, like those are all the things that I like pour my passion into. And I'm glad that while that might like excite someone, I was more so like pointing out that like I would put those things on the back burner and like focus on my partner and be like, okay, what do they need, right? So like my partner needs X, Y, and Z in their life, so let's focus on doing that. Meanwhile, rope, dance, and everything else is like hasn't been touched in months. So in a way, like yes, like that person is interested in me for these things, and then like I almost get distracted and lose sight of that. But I have also have people, fetishize me for certain things, right? Like they get here's also the thing about the internet and just being like social media presences. People think they know you, right? You have a profile, they think they're your best friend. And I'm like, we don't know each other. So you run into that, especially in the sex work community, you run into that like, hey, and it's like, no, we don't know each other. Like we are like, hello, tap in, please. Yeah, you can run into people fetishizing you for what you do or like services you offer or just because they think you're cool. Which is weird.
And to what you were saying, like things that you haven't been doing for months, like, oh, now I've been with this person, so this has fallen to the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
That can cause some resentment.
Right.
Which might not necessarily, that's not that person's fault. That's really your fault.
And it is your fault. And that's why I was like, no, I can't do this codependent shit no more. I just can't do it. Cannot do it.
I need to be me.
No, seriously. And it sucks though. Like, because it honestly feels like if you and your codependent self were like Siamese twins and you could just like pry yourself apart, like that's what it's like letting go of codependency.
Wow.
Like it is awful. And I know people that like go to therapy and cope for years, you know, with codependency, whether it be with, you know, romantic relationships or familial relationships, but like that shit runs deep.
Word.
That's dope.
Well, shit. I mean, we just hit the hour mark.
With some bloopers.
Yeah, but the way we like to end every episode, we like to look at that camera because we don't have more than one camera. By the way, if anybody wants to come be the official camera person of the How'd I Get Here podcast, come holla at your boy. Because we're trying to build the team.
Did you say a name?
I said facts.
Oh, they said boss.
Yeah, we got some big things coming.
I was like, I might be able to plug some people.
No, hey. Listen, we got some big things coming up. You want to join? You want to be a part of this team?
Facts.
If you guys, we're 5 seasons in, like the content is clearly there. We got some things coming that y'all gonna want to be a part of. So if anybody wants to join the team, we ain't eating yet, but trust when we start to eat, we all gonna eat. So join the team. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But we finish every episode with 15 seconds of fame. So look into the camera. It doesn't have to be anything about anything we just spoke about. You could talk about your new lingerie line that's coming out. Yeah, your mama's cooking, whatever makes you happy, and then we'll go down the line and then finish.
Right.
Starts
with you.
It starts with me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so much pressure. So then, like, do I just have 15 seconds to talk about anything?
Whatever you want.
Anything in the world?
Anything.
Yeah.
What?
Make it weird.
Weird? Whoa, I feel like I didn't have enough time to prepare for this.
You have so much power at your hands.
But like 15 seconds is enough time to tell all my great stories.
So you have 30. For you, you get 30.
30? God, okay, fine. That's great. I'll take it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, pick a number 1 or 2. Okay, or should I do pick foot fetish versus Let's pick foot fetish versus human dinner table.
Whoa.
Human dinner table for 500.
For 500?
I second that motion.
Okay, wonderful. So I have a beloved client who goes by Kevin. Miss you, Kevin, so much.
Come back, Kevin.
Kevin.
He really enjoys being a human dinner table. And I mean like set up, like hands and knees, all fours.
Okay, so he's on all fours.
Naked. Cloth.
Over him.
Linen of some sort. So like usually, I usually choose a table runner because, you know, nice, symmetrical, like long shape. Doesn't, okay. I don't want anything draping over him, right?
Because you want him to be seen.
Correct. So, you know, nice table runner. And I mean, wine glass, a full meal, appetizer, sometimes bread, hors d'oeuvres, right on his back.
What if he moved? Like, so he likes
and if he spills any of it, there's going to be issues.
So he just stands?
So he knows what's up.
Not stands, but...
Sometimes for hours.
And does what?
Chills.
Just all four while you eat off of him?
All right, listen.
Because he wants to be objectified.
I know we were about to end the show.
That's hilarious. You said Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You said this 30 seconds just got upgraded.
Yeah, nah. We need to unpack this shit. First of all, how does one figure out that they want to be a table? And then two, how does one find out, like, I want to make people be a table?
He wants to be objectified.
But
Right.
no, I understand that. But like,
Why a table?
What were the steps that made you lead up to?
the same steps that make you lead up to anything, right? Like I want this and I find somebody who will provide this for me. Like,
Hold on. Sorry. I'm just laughing because my boy, my
He wants to
co-host
be a table
Jacob,
too? Oh,
my
no,
boy
he doesn't
Jake
want to be a
has
table.
said this multiple times on and off the camera. I am the table.
Yo,
so now it has a new meaning.
I'll never.
so he just like sits there as a fake table.
I mean, he's a table for me. I'm eating dinner right
This
on
is-
his back.
So you're eating off of him.
Right off his back.
Is someone serving the food?
I mean,
Or is all of it just there?
I usually have it like prepared, like ready to go.
So you get paid to transform this man into a table, eat off his back. Do you talk to the table while?
No, it's a table. Why would I talk to a table?
So you're just sitting there. What?
And if no, but you had to see the look in her face when she says, and if he spills anything, there's gonna be problems.
Yeah, he knows what's
This
up.
man needs to come in to get fit and bear crawl.
Bruh, he probably body everybody.
That's insane.
This man's last check was $3,000 to me, so this man needs to come back and see me immediately.
Kevin, come back.
Kevin, come back.
Kevin, come back.
Kevin, come back.
That's nuts. And this is a
he's
normal thing.
He's in Paris, so that's why I haven't seen
Kevin
him.
in Paris.
I know.
Damn.
Hmm.
That's wild. How did he find you?
did I get
FetLife. I don't recommend FetLife, so I'm not plugging them, but
Got
yeah.
it. Interesting. My 32 minutes. I'm not.
That's
topping
hilarious.
that.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you guys a bunch of any stories you want any day, so you let me know.
Can you just text me a story a day so I could just be happy?
Yeah.
Like that would just like what?
There's just so many fetishes. Like people love to be tickled or to be peed on or to I don't even know.
I want to make an R. Kelly segue, but we're supposed to wrap up.
You're hilarious. So fuck R. Kelly.
This is crazy.
Bro,
That's
say
hilarious.
it. We gotta go.
Cat is a table, a naked table with a mild cloth.
Yeah, I was gonna say on my work
Is he
Instagram I have
aroused
someone as
during
a
this?
table.
Is that a weird question?
Would you
I'm,
say?
Is he aroused during this?
I'm sure.
No. I mean, like, is he hard?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You don't know.
Well, nigga, that's what aroused me.
It depends. Like usually there's a chastity belt involved. I don't gotta see nothing I don't want to see.
Metal?
If I want it to be,
Like-
sometimes leather.
Like Princess Bride?
I like leather personally. My personal touch of hell, of evil.
Yo, sees.
Yo,
I feel like we
why
have
did you lead off with that?
We can have another episode just
We might
solely
have
dedicated
to.
to like kink and doming and stuff like that. That's a completely different topic than
But my whole
polyamory.
face is gonna be like this.
Right, and that's okay.
we definitely
You can just
have
let
to
me
have
do all the
tequila for that.
talking, and then you guys can develop questions as we go, and then we can just keep rolling from
Bruh,
there.
I'm here for it. That's crazy. Not,
Dude,
when I
fetish-
say crazy, I don't mean it like
no, the
that's
fetish world
crazy.
is,
I mean it like
is
that's
insane.
crazy.
It's cool. It's like there's so much. Like literally, we call it like, oh, don't yuck anybody's yum, because literally there is
Don't
just like
what?
yuck anybody's yum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There is just like
I'm about to use that shit. Don't yuck my yum.
I knew
Listen,
fetishes
there's-
were wild when I saw Pulp Fiction.
yes,
Like, there's no reason why that dude should be in the, in
No.
the basement.
stocking fetishes.
You seen
like,
Pulp Fiction, right?
No, yeah, but I'll tell the story off camera.
Okay.
That's not
That's
for camera.
hilarious.
Yeah. Wow. You guys don't know what the story is, and now you're gonna wonder what the story is, and then you're all gonna hit me
yeah.
up about the story.
That's hilarious. We're gonna start a group chat about this damn story.
So, bruh, my 15 seconds is don't yuck anybody's yum.
That's
you
right.
need to do some inner work in yourself, figure out what you like, whether you feel like it's weird to be you, which I think is weird. Like, you should just be authentic and do the work, because obviously there's shit out there that we don't even know about, and people love it.
Clearly.
If
The
you like it,
people
I love it.
it.
Hey.
Well,
Yeah, right? Like, how do you follow, like, you beat
I don't
us?
know, but I'm going to bring something good to the table. All right. My 15 seconds of fame. Before I dive into that, thank you very much for this
you
dope,
Facts.
amazing episode.
This was great. This was very educational. I learned so much
Yeah.
in the first
Thank
5
you.
minutes, and then my mind was
Yes.
just blown.
I was so worried. I was like, I'm gonna get on there and know nothing. There are
She
so many
came with
questions on me.
notes.
No, this was dope, and we're definitely gonna do that.
Kink
Kink,
episode?
yes,
Yeah,
that'll be another good
seriously.
one.
Do you have props that you can bring in?
I absolutely do.
How about no?
Sure do.
I was gonna say we hang upside down from the ceiling while you
You're
tell the stories, but
Absolutely. That is so funny and so dangerous.
And like we probably pass out after a while.
Absolutely. Oh,
we
absolutely.
won't hang out upside
Also,
down.
like, who is getting your big asses up there? Like me?
His
my little,
big
my
ass.
little
I'm
self?
little.
How? You're still bigger than me.
So everybody you deal with is smaller than you?
No.
Oh, so you figure it out.
I mean, yeah, but like, damn, that's a lot of work. Y'all not paying me for this.
Oh, told you once we start eating,
this is
everybody gonna
marketing.
eat.
This is free marketing.
We gonna eat.
I'm gonna suspend you for free.
Shit.
My rope's not free.
Nice.
Listen, everybody. October 29th.
That's right.
We said it last week. We're gonna say it this week. Flyers coming out next week.
What day is that?
A Friday,
That's
October
right.
29th from
6
6
to
p.m.
9.
to 9 p.m. Stop by Semilla Cafe, 1283 Main Street, to come see the first live podcast episode of the How'd I Get Here podcast, and probably the first live episode of any podcast around. I don't think anybody does that shit.
They normally
Here.
do it like on stage, but we're doing it in a local business that just opened. That's the Dope Vibe in Hartford. If you haven't been there, check it out.
Right.
And check it out that night because it's going to be lit.
Yeah,
You don't want to miss it.
And
Don't
C's
want
going to
to.
be there.
Facts.
It's a Friday.
You're going to be there.
I mean, I think I work, so
At
yeah.
night?
Oh,
Like, there's only so many people that work there.
yeah.
True.
Well, remember Fridays are open till 5, right?
Right.
So late
So-
now. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, we got you OT, baby.
Yeah,
See, we
yo,
paying you for
dead
this.
Crazy thing is, her
ass,
managers
though.
didn't even tell her yet. Well, with all that
The
being
funny
said,
thing, yeah, wait, you said the 29th, though. We got time to prove. We got time. We got time. We got time. They're
she about
okay.
to put in
They're
her
okay.
PTO tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, Amy.
Oh, man.
Talk
Well,
about you don't
shit.
sing.
My 15 seconds of fame, and I literally thought of it during this episode. I'm going to challenge everybody who is watching this to practice self-love and treat yourself to a dinner, a movie, a drink by yourself. I want you to go sit at a bar, go sit at a movie, do something by yourself. Because like C said during the episode, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but you're really going to find out some things about yourself, how much you love yourself, how much you don't, how comfortable you are with yourself. Once you do it once, you're going to want to do it at least once a week.
That's awesome.
So love yourself, go practice self-love.
Mhm.
And with all that being said, by the time you guys will have heard this, my birthday will have passed. So wish me a happy
Right.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Libra season.
Yes, man.
Gang, gang.
28, single with no kids. I'm a rare breed,
It's
just like
20.
this podcast. So fuck with us because we going to fuck with y'all and blow things up. You heard?
You heard.
And we out.